Monkey! Hey guys! It's definitely been a long while since I've uploaded my last pickups video. I've just been busy gaming, and then I would wait for stuff to come in the mail for me to film, and I realized stuff would just not stop coming in the mail because we keep ordering games. Without further ado, we got a whole bunch of PlayStation stuff. But we gotta start with our customary Switch releases first. Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition here. So this game originally came out on the Wii U. I heard that game download, or whatever it took to install that game, would take up the entire Wii U internal system memory. So that's a problem. I guess here we have the definitive edition, which I'll be playing. I can keep my Wii U copy sealed then, knowing this. And having an upgraded Switch copy to play portably for this awesome RPG series sounds pretty sweet. So here it is. Jet Cave Adventure. We have very few Switch games today, but this is a cute one, a strictly limited release. Took forever to ship this game. We have number 2,985 of 3,000 physical copies. You play as this caveman, and it's a side-scrolling platformer with some pretty good humor here. You have like an alien robot that travels back in time, and you're just, collecting coins and fossils on level-based levels, I guess. And it's really fun. It's a little rough around the edges, like it lacks some polish, but honestly, a solid little platformer here with a nice little soundtrack too. Last Switch game already. What's wrong with us? Coromon, a limited run release here from Freedom Games. This is pretty much a Pokemon clone, right? I played it briefly just to check it out. It seems pretty neat, to be honest. Didn't see too many Coromon designs and stuff, but it's pretty crazy how similar this game is to Pokemon. Like, these guys better watch out. Nintendo's gonna sue them like real soon. But they have the whole pixel art style in this game, so no 3D models or anything. So it's a little bit more old school, and some Poke fans enjoy that, right? Or the black and white people out there that really enjoy that art style. Coromon. I'll get into it at some point. Of course, it comes with its little color manual. Very nice. And just like that, we're on to some Wii games. Let's get all the Nintendo stuff out of the way, I guess. Escape from Bug Island from the Wii. Rated M. One of very few Wii games that are rated M. So that alone warrants a purchase. But this game is more of a meme game. It's so bad that it's good. Or maybe it's so bad that it just absolutely sucks. But we have a third-person survival horror game, supposedly, involving some kids going to a field trip on a giant bug-infested island. That sounds like a great idea. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check this one out. Hey, it's October. Maybe this will make it onto the spooky streams. I heard the controls are extremely jank and the game overall just kind of is not great. But sometimes, looking fondly back at the past, these games turn out to be pretty awesome, even in today's standards, because you're just laughing. But yeah, Escape from Bug Island. This is the first time I've seen this game out in the wild, so I had to scoop it up. Flat Out. Oh, Flat Out. This game is really, really cool. Think of Wreckfest on the PS2. That's essentially what this game is. And come to think of it, this might have been the game that I was looking for as a kid. I may have seen some commercials on this game where, like, your driver flies out of the windshield and engages in some ragdoll physics collisions and stuff. This is that game. Some, off-road derby races and some wacky, chaotic mini games in which, like, the sole purpose is to launch your driver from the windshield and hit like a bullseye or something like that. So some silly stuff. There's bowling and stuff, but the main focus here is car racing And the tech is pretty impressive for PS2. There's some, vehicle damage. Looks good. The physics feel great when you're driving the cars down dirt roads. And it's honestly a pretty fun game. If you're into Wreckfest, this is pretty much the precursor to that. So I would recommend picking this up. Last PS2 game is The Bouncer from Squaresoft. I was never terribly familiar with this game. In fact, I only heard about this one this year at some point. I've had these games piled up since like March of 2025, and I'm only just doing the video on it. But yeah, I actually pulled the trigger on eBay. There was a good listing for this game, which is had a good price. Not sure if this is a blue back disc. It has nope, it's regular. It's got an ugly sticker on the CD here, but don't mind. This game is supposed to be pretty interesting. Like, you play as a bouncer at a club, and there's some story elements, like some deep RPG mechanics maybe. I don't know, I'm not too sure, but it definitely looks interesting. Not sure about the main character here. He looks like Sora from Kingdom Hearts or something, but could be worth a good playthrough. Oh, I lied. We have more Wii games. I don't know how these snuck in, but we have freaking Spyborgs on the Wii. A first-party release from Capcom. You know, when I saw this game, I was like, what the hell? Capcom on Wii Spyborgs, and I think this is pretty much the only release in the franchise of Spyborgs. This is a 3D brawler. It tries to incentivize some co-op play here. Up to 2 players. You go through levels and destroy robot enemies. And, you can upgrade your character even. It's actually, you know what, guys? This is the hidden gem of the video. If you guys have a Wii, buy this game. Buy this game. It's excellent. If you guys are into 3D brawlers, I had no idea this game existed. I took a complete gamble on this game, and I had a bunch of fun with it. Didn't beat it, made it through the first like 5 levels or so, but it was enough to hook me. And then I left it, of course. But no, it's really good, really good. You got 3 different characters here. You got the standard guy with the machine gun arm. You have your hulking robot melee-based guy, and you have your quick cyber ninja chick. So you can, mix and match those to make up for a pretty cool team composition. But this is an excellent, excellent game. I cannot recommend it enough. Pick up yourself a copy of Spyborgs. Okay, I promise this is the last Wii game. Reload! This is violent. Outdoor action. Just a shooting gallery game. Heard good things about this point and shoot game. But that's pretty much all it is. Point and click with the Wiimote. You can attach it to the freaking zapper if you want. But yeah, I mean, good shooting mechanics, I guess. It's just not going to hold your interest for very long. But I was on a light gun kick earlier this year, and I wanted to just amass all the shooting games on Wii, and this is kind of a must-have, I guess, because the quality is pretty decent despite it being a Mastiff release. No offense, but that's like a lesser-known publisher, right? I think they put out some junk before. Maybe not. Yeah, this is Reload on the Wii. We got a couple PS3 releases which go hand in hand. We got Dragon Age Origins, and I'm going to cheat a little bit here and feature Dragon Age Origins Awakening, the DLC for Dragon Age Oranges. Yeah. So there is a dual pack that exists out there with the DLC baked onto the disc. I couldn't find myself a copy of that. I thought just the DLC included the base game, but it didn't. So I had to kind of go back and get Origins. My brother has been a huge Dragon Age fan, and he's been telling me for years to check out Origins, that it's really awesome. Maybe I'll finally get the chance to play this game. Install it on the old PS3 there and see what it's all about. Just a massive kind of open world game, right? So here it is. I finally have it. with its expansion pack. I guess we'll do a singular PS1 game. And it's a goodie. Fighting Force on the PS1. A very, old PS1 era 3D brawler, and it is absolutely excellent. I beat the game once or twice, once for sure, obviously. You got a cast of characters to pick between. They each have their own strengths and weaknesses and stuff, and not a very long game at all. You can knock it out in about an hour and a half, depending on how good you are. It has branching paths, right? So you have to select whether you want to go to the mall or if you want to go to the street side, and so it warrants multiple playthroughs, and it's a treat. Let's check out how many players this is. Up to 2 players. That could be a lot of fun. Definitely check out Fighting Force on the PS1 if you're into 3D brawlers. There's a part 2 that I've heard isn't as great as this game, but man, I cannot sing this game enough praises because I had such a blast. I popped it into the PS1 just to check it out, and I was hooked. I didn't stop until I beat the game. It was so good. It controls excellent for a PS1 game. If you can look past the polygonal graphics and all that, of course, you'll find that there's lots to enjoy here in Fighting Force. Let's do 2 handheld games. Mario Party, the top 100. I've been kind of a Mario Party aficionado over the years, mainly in my childhood. Part 4 being my favorite and the one that I have the most memories with. But here's a compilation of 100 mini games of the most popular mini games throughout Mario Party's history up to this point. And I'm happy to announce that it does indeed include Booksquirm, which is the one with the falling pages and you gotta line yourself up with a hole or get squashed. Little cute thing. Kind of a must-have in my opinion for collecting all the Mario first-party releases or the Nintendo first-party releases on the DS. So just a compilation of mini games here. Nothing too crazy, but happy to have it. Another freaking DS game. We got Contra 4. We finally got Contra 4. That's currently in my DS. I haven't been playing it a whole lot just because this game is just tough as nails, right? If I'm not mistaken, this might have been a re-release of the original Contra, but just on the DS. It utilizes both the top and bottom screen for that verticality in the levels. So maybe more stuff to keep eyes on because there are 2 screens. Could be pretty chaotic, adding to the difficulty for sure, but as soon as I saw this listing pop up at my local game shop, I had to reserve it because people were just gonna swarm this game. It's a sought after entry in the Contra series here exclusively on the DS, so I'm happy to have it in my collection. Very, very cool cover art there. Yeah, 2 dudes, RPGs and guns. Alright, let's move on to some more PlayStation stuff. We got a Shinobi non Grata from Strictly Limited, again, a second appearance here on this video. Shinobi non Grata is a retro-style side-scrolling action platformer. Think of Ninja Gaiden or something like that. The art style is very particular. You can't really tell from the back of the very nice case here. Maybe the inside will give you a sneak peek. Maybe we can flip through the manual, because I do want to say that the art in this game, the graphics are pretty unique, I would say. Should I reference maybe TurboGrafx style graphics? I'm not really sure. They're pixelated like this, with some very bold, vivid colors. You have a weapon wheel to use with your ninja here. You make it through very short levels. I haven't beaten the game yet. There's this one boss that's kind of a douche, but yeah, you have a weapon wheel, and there's about 8 weapons on that. So you can kind of mix and match whatever routing you want to figure out for each level and which weapon might work best. Or, you can just go crazy and do crazy stuff. But very fun game, very, very cool, fast, action-packed, with great visuals for that retro feel. Like it's a really, really neat game. I need to go back to it and beat it. I've been playing quite a handful of Ninja games actually, with all the freaking Ninja releases lately, right? This is one of them, and it's a great one. Very nice cover art too. Very, very nice. Resident Evil 6. The logo, the giraffe, the guy, right? Here's the action-packed Resident Evil entry, which wants you to play it co-op with a friend and blast zombies in spectacular fashion. Not your typical survival horror release here in the Resident Evil series, but people either love it or hate it. My brother is wanting to do a co-op playthrough of this one, and seeing as we've worked through Revelations 2, this would go well with the Resident Evil theme. I'm excited to play that with him and see what this game is all about. Includes all map and multiplayer DLC. Multiplayer stuff is long gone, so I guess we won't be experiencing any of that. I wonder what that was like. But here's Resident Evil with a couple different storylines to play through. Maybe Leon, maybe this chick. Is that Jill? I don't know. But yeah, so some replay value here and co-op goodness. It's not as scary as other Resident Evil entries, so if you're not into that, maybe this might be it for you. Far Cry Primal. Oh man, the open world first person game, but you're in the Stone Ages as a caveman, and you can tame a wild saber-tooth to have as a companion and hunt giant woolly mammoths. So yeah, this was kind of an oddball release from the Far Cry series, right? Most of those games are taking place in some sort of like communist modern day island society, and you're trying to liberate villages and stuff, but this one kind of goes off the beaten path, and I'm sure you're killing some rival tribals. Maybe there's some dinos, right? Maybe dinosaurs made it into this timeline. That'd be pretty sweet. But very interesting. I've heard this game is pretty sweet. Far Cry games, to me, I haven't played very many of them. I appreciate them for what they are. I like the open world and kind of the progression loop that they have from the experience of Far Cry games that I've played. So it's cool to see this sort of setting in that gameplay formula. Pretty curious, and I've been looking out for this one for a while, so here it is. PS5 games from here on out, and we're winding down on the video already. Split Fiction, from the makers of It Takes Two, and I have a couple things to say about It Takes Two, but here's Split Fiction, a 2025 release, which a lot of people have been enjoying and have been touting as the game of the year, or a game of the year contender at least. These are very multiplayer or cooperative centric games. You must play these games with a player too. So yeah, the same people that made It Takes Two, which again was another game that was very cooperative, along with A Way Out. They may have also made that game. I need to look out for that one. Still looking for it. But yeah, so you actually get a split screen view regardless of you not playing right next to your friend couch co-op. You see both screens, you solve puzzles, you beat some bosses, that sort of stuff. But this game is supposed to be really creative, very imaginative, and funny. So I'm excited to play this one with my cousin DJ. Once we're done with the slog that is It Takes Two, we're going to move on to Split Fiction. I'll go on a very small rant about It Takes Two. I know a lot of people really loved It Takes Two, and they said, wow, this is just a masterpiece, work of art, game of the year, one of the best games ever. And although the game is extremely creative and imaginative, I gotta say that maybe that sort of video game just is not for me. I would say that It Takes Two is more than linear. It is a step above linear. You can only solve puzzles a single way. And I know that puzzles only have one solution in every other game too, but this game just, like, it takes two freaking holds your hand and makes sure that you do everything exactly the way it's supposed to be done. And there's really no variety in the solutions and the way you go about things. So essentially you're playing a movie, right? It's all scripted. Everything has to happen the same exact way. And it's more of an experience in that way. And that's just not the type of game that I'm into. I want interactivity, I want some agency, I want influence on the gameplay, and, you know, shoehorning in the play style in video games for me is just detrimental, not as fun. So I'm hoping Split Fiction is a little bit more open-ended, or at least the tasks that you're supposed to do have some sort of agency that you can influence things somehow. But yeah, just It Takes Two is taking too long to beat. I can't wait to get over that game so I can get into something that's probably better. Split Fiction. You're two chicks, by the way. Yes, of course. Two chicks. Here we go. Humanity. PlayStation VR 2 compatible. That's why I got it. Man, Humanity was a puzzle-style game that I'd been eagerly awaiting for a release, physically, of course, and they also announced that it would have virtual reality compatibility. Or actually, I think that was kind of like its main platform, was like, hey, this is going to have VR, and I was like, all right, sweet, can't wait for a physical release. It took forever to come out, and here it is, a very creative game in which you're supposed to guide masses of people into designated zones on a floating puzzle map of sorts, and you can experience all that in virtual reality. You take charge of this ethereal dog, which is basically the shepherd that guides humans to their locations. Sometimes there's 2 to 3 or various blips on the map that you have to guide the flow of these people, or else they fall off the map. You know, you put some directional signals on the ground that turn into routes, that turn into patterns for these people to follow. And that's sort of the gameplay loop. And it's very fun, very cool to see in virtual reality and kind of manipulate the flow of these masses of people. Really fun, peculiar, and chaotic. Because yeah, like you could send people jumping across big gaps in the map if you put a jump pad and that sort of stuff, and managing all that sort of stuff is kind of like being an air traffic controller of sorts. It's really fun. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So, my brother just recently picked up this game as well. He's been a Yakuza fan since Like a Dragon, the turn-based game, and this is not turn-based anymore, right? It takes place in Hawaii, and you switch the protagonist from Ichiban from Like a Dragon to now this guy, and he's I heard he's funny, but a 3D brawler with some pirate crew maintenance mechanics or something. Not terribly familiar. I know my brother he leans more towards the turn-based action, whereas I can enjoy that, but 3D brawling just a little bit more. And if this game has some Yakuza pedigree 3D brawling, then I want to experience that, because I haven't actually played too many of those games, or very many at all. Just the Like a Dragon game is the only Yakuza game that I've really played, so this should be a nice change of pace, something silly, something fun, and lots of quality here from Sega. Good stuff. All right, we're winding down with the 22 game pickup episode here. On episode 22, of course, Monster Hunter Wilds from Capcom. I've been a Monster Hunter fan since, I would say, Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. That game was incredible. I played it for like 3 months straight, and I just automatically assumed that every Monster Hunter game would follow that formula, right? Because that's the stuff that people have liked for countless releases already. And I think Wilds had some issues at launch. But from the little that I experienced, yeah, it's just, you know, it's shiny, brand new Monster Hunter on your PS5. If I have missed any glaring issues with Monster Hunter Wilds, you let me know what the latest controversy is on this game. Maybe it wasn't up to snuff from what I experienced the very brief time that I had with it. Again, very cool, giant monster battles, cool environments, plenty of content. These games take forever to beat, or at least to experience everything the game has to offer. There's so much post-game content in Monster Hunter, and the replayability is nearly endless as you're trying to unlock different armor sets, weapons, and that sort of stuff, hunting the adequate amounts of monsters to fulfill those requirements will keep you busy for a long time. So here it is. Monster Hunter Wilds. Penultimate game on this episode, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So this is the second part of the re-released game, right? They're doing it in pieces. It looks like it's shaping up to be a trilogy, maybe a quadrilogy. Maybe not even a week ago, the dual pack of Retrograde or whatever the heck is called plus Rebirth was announced, so I'm kind of kicking myself, but I didn't want to take the chance. Nowadays, with fewer physical releases, I never really want to wait too long on something to release because it may never release, or it could suffer the fate of a low print run and then scalpers galore, right? So a massive RPG that I'll get to eventually. I still would want to experience the original. I'm not sure if before the remakes, maybe that might be the way to go. It might be hard to go back, but I feel like the retro experience and the modern experience are two separate things to digest. You might want to experience both. But yeah, here it is. Cloud Strife and Friends. The last pickup is this game. You can't read Japanese kanji? It's Slitterhead, the Day 1 edition, published by Xseed. So maybe an obscure release here. We got the Day 1 edition of this game, which was supposed to be like some of the Silent Hill development team went on to make this game, if I'm not mistaken. They wanted to grab some elements from that extremely popular franchise and make their own. But to my knowledge, this game is more of a mission-based action slasher game, to be honest. So it's definitely not a survival horror game. It's mission-based. You're like this alien entity that can take over people's minds. So you kind of propagate your entity throughout different NPCs throughout the world, and you can weaponize those people to fight the virus that is turning other people into slitterheads, which are these like nasty, gaping dragon-looking things, and you can use blood, pools of blood to power up your attacks and stuff like that. It's pretty unique, I guess, the concept here, but had to have it. Kind of an obscure game, and it comes in this nice little box. Have it sealed here, but maybe not for long. I think there's some posters and stuff like that on the inside. But yeah, Slitterhead. All right, guys, what do you think? What do you think of the pickups on this video? It was very PlayStation-centric episode for the number 22. And remember that number. We're going to be releasing pickups videos with 22 video games on each one, just to make it a little bit more easy to digest, or else I'd be recording like an 80 game pickup video. The editing on that would take forever, and your attention spans probably don't exist past maybe 22 games. So here they are. Let me know what your favorite pickup is, if I've inspired you to pick any of these titles up, on today's episode. And catch me on Twitch. I'll be streaming these games or some other stuff on there. And also keep an eye out for a live pickups video that I did on Twitch with some games that I recovered from the homeland. But anyways, I'll catch you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Appreciate the viewership. Okay, bye.